again tells us in Psalms 73 and 24, it says he leads us by wise counsel. Psalm 73 and 24 says, thou shalt guide me with thy counsel, and afterward receive me to glory. God will guide you. You know, that GPS, we get out there and we're trying to find somebody's address and we're trying to go from city to city. The global positioning system is good there. But when you're trying to make it through this life and you know that you get lost and you're trying to make your way to heaven, my brothers and sisters, ask God, Lord, that GPS, God's powerful spirit. That's what we need to guide us, to lead us and to guide us. God said he will guide us with his eye. He's watching you. And he said, don't worry. I know the way. I am the way. Follow me. I'll lead you. I'll guide you, my brothers and sisters. So if you get lost and you don't know your way, call on Jesus, because remember, there's a way out your mess, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey, folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
All right, guys, I'm going to open the phones, give you guys a few moments, especially here on the opening, to call if you have anything you'd like to join in on Ask Your Neighbor. If not, we'll move forward with whatever else. Maybe I'll play a repeat of a program, but I'll give you here this minute or so to get on the phones, 457-1380.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Roane, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
It's tax season and you're wondering what to do with that refund check. Here's a suggestion. Shylock's Pawn has all kinds of things at really great prices that will stretch that refund farther. Guns, jewelry, TVs, video games, musical instruments, fishing gear, and more. As you can see, the selection is huge. You never know what you'll find at Shylock's, so when you get that refund check, come to Shylock's and save. Shylock's Pawn, 1204 Clinch Avenue in South Clinton, 865-457-2960. And remember, Shylock's has cash for you.
Hi, this is Jim Miller with WYSH Local Information News. Remember, if you see news happen, email me, jim@WYSHradio.com, or message us on the WYSH Facebook page. Each day, we bring you the latest in local news. David Aldrich, Captain Accurate, has your weather forecast, and Pete Michaels is in the sky with the traffic. So we've got you covered, and if you see news happen, let us know. Your source for local information news since 1960, WYSH.
And good morning. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor this morning. Hello.
Hello. I was wanting to see if you've heard anything about them doing free taxes for senior citizens in Oak Ridge yet.
I have not, but they do every year, and we should hear. As soon as I do hear, we'll pass it along. I know they do. They used to do them in Rocky Top at the library there, too, but I'll find out for you, okay?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you. Anybody got information on that you'd like to pass along? Well, that'd be nice. Let us know. Anyone, anywhere, anytime soon? Here's Darla, co-owner of H&H Body Shop, on what she likes about her job.
Well, we get to help people, then we get to help people through a rough time in their life because everybody don't have a wreck every day. And when they do, they're a lot of times distraught, don't know where to go, don't know what to do. So just helping them get into the process and get through the process.
The days of going from body shop to get estimates are gone. You guys can handle everything for your customers, right?
Yeah, we'll get the car towed here. If it's not a non-drivable, then we have their rental car scheduled for when they get here. We try to fix your car like it was our own.
H&H Body Shop, North Main Street in Clinton. Call 865-457-9734. 865-457-9734. H&H Body Shop, there since 1960. There when you need them. The following is a pre-recorded best of edition of Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH. We've got Robbie Harrell's in here with us. Probably the last time, I don't know if you were up here, but probably was back when you were doing middle school stuff, right? How long ago?
2008, I was the head coach of middle school. We had a very successful, very good team. Followed them on up to the high school and spent some time as an assistant coach at Clinton High School for a little while after that. But since I've been inside the station, it's been probably 2008.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Man alive, that's something. We even called some of your all's middle school games.
You did.
We went out, and I remember David... my stars and garters. But we did. You did. You had a couple of really big seasons down there.
We sure did.
Man, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
It does. Fast forward 16 years, and here we sit again.
Here you are. So let me ask you this. Is this a position that you had kind of thought, all right, someday I want to get up to, doing this high school principal, or is this something that the opportunity came up and that is what piqued your interest?
So I'd been a high school principal. I'd had students from Clinton High School for 12 years at Anderson County Career and Technical Center.
Yep.
So there I had students from Anderson County High School and Clinton High School. So I'm familiar with some of the student body at Clinton High School. Not everyone would come to the Career Center.
Sure.
But through athletics, my children, being a community member, I do have a lot of acquaintances that are students and a lot of acquaintances that are parents of Clinton High School current students. I did apply for the job a few years ago.
Okay.
And I did not get the job a few years ago. Not certain as to why. We won't go into any details there, but Anderson County Career and Technical Center is a great place to be. Worked there for 16 years, and this time I didn't necessarily apply for the job or seek it out. I was just approached, and through conversation and some negotiation, here I am at Clinton High School and glad to be there.
Not going to talk about the past or the problems, but obviously you had to look at that when you considered taking this job and know you're going to have your hands full for a minute or two.
Yes, there were a lot of things that I had to look at, looking into the past versus the future.
There you go.
When I take a hold of something and I want to lead something, I'm not looking through the rearview mirror. I'm looking through the windshield. We want to drive this thing forward,
yes,
and we want to move Clinton High School forward. And if I can give anything back to the community that's given me so much through my career and my life, by impact and change and positivity, that's a huge reason why I said yes to Clinton High School.
How hard is it? You've just sat here, you've had conversations, and I bet you've had hundreds of those conversations, but how hard is it to be responsible for everybody's kids for a while? I mean, something happens to my kid, I'm, oh gosh, immediately, and now, how is that? How do you feel about that, and what kind of, what are your thoughts on that, all these kids that you're responsible for?
It is a large responsibility. But if you treat every child as if it's your child, good decisions. So if you're, even in the time of turmoil where there's discipline and things that have to happen, you talk to that child, you let them know that you're not the bad person. It's just a consequence for their action. If we can change that action, we get down to the root cause and we can change that action, then there's no consequence to be handed out anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just about building relationships. Education is relationship business. I really believe that to answer your question, straightforward, is treat every child like they're your child.
That's a great philosophy, and if you can do that, more power to you. That's a fantastic way of doing it, and It would definitely work and make. I think two kids, for whatever reason, sometimes I think they feel like they're insignificant. You know what I mean? Or at least mine do sometimes. I feel like they're not being heard, and that's when they act out the worst, is when they're not being heard. So I can imagine you go through all that with kids, and discipline, and them trying to find their place in the school and everything else. But
yes, a lot of it is just listening and letting them be heard. Be a sounding board for them. Also treating them as the young adult that they are. Once they get to the high school level, they're young adults.
Yeah.
And we want to treat them with respect that young adults deserve. And then you can see some behaviors and some kind of aha moments, light bulb moments, if you will, in their behavior and some change and transition. But it's not all about behavior. A lot of it's about academics and growth. So if you can take a student from A to B and grow them, whether A to B for students it's different.
Sure.
No two students are the same, and they're not on the same levels. So when you can grow from level to level, irregardless if it's level 1 to level 2 or level 3 to level 4 or level 4 to level 5, that's growth. And when you can connect in that way, you really see changes in students, and you see changes in the culture of the school, and you see changes within the community.
When you meet my twins, one has long blonde hair, one has long brown hair, one is a jock, a sports guy outside all the time. The other one is going to be at the Career and Technical Center because he loves working on engines and breaking down stuff. In fact, there's a 1987 ATV four-wheeler in my garage as we speak that he has tore down and stuff. So it's completely different kids that learn completely different ways, both very intelligent, but man, you could switch their places and they'd be so out of water, like fish out of water, It's completely different. So just from my experience, and I have to have two ways of dealing with them. You have to have, 1,400 ways to dealing with kids?
You do. You have to have several different ways and several different things that you address. It's all situational and it's individualized. You have to, again, education being a relationship business, you build that relationship, you get to know the student knows you, there's a comfort there, and then you can direct. So the age-old question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? So as soon as our students can answer that, really that's a age-old question.
Sure.
As soon as they can answer that, the adults that are in their life, being their parents, their community members that they're involved with, the teachers, administration, we can get them going in the direction to where they can be the most successful. And when you can get them going in the direction that they desire to go into, that's when you are you're winning them. And you're giving them what they really want.
How old were you when you realized you wanted to teach? And because I say this about police officers, firemen, teachers. It's you got to have a heart for service because you're not going to get, you're not going to be on the Forbes 500 list. But at the same time, I mean, there has to be a calling, I think, on people to do this.
There is. Teaching is a second career for me. I decided late in life that teaching was for me. I had at once upon a time I was an entrepreneur. I had my own company, had running my own business, and one of my former football coaches had when I was in high school had contracted my company to do a little work for them on their house, and his wife happened to be a principal at the time, and we had some conversation. After we finished the job at their home, we had some conversation. So she kind of recruited me and mentored me into the education world, and through the lens of sports, football. That's how I was at Clinton Middle School, on part of the football team.
Was Clinton Middle your first?
My first
job.
Excuse me. Sorry. Yes, that was my first position within Anderson County Schools.
Okay.
I started off in Anderson County Schools, pretty much minimum wage, $7.25 an hour as a classified employee doing in-school suspension, and assistant football coach for 2 years. My younger brother, Scotty Harrell, was the head football coach at the time. And then when he moved on to Clinton High School, I had applied for the head coaching position and became the head coach 2008.
Scotty didn't do too bad there either, did he?
He didn't.
You got to compare records?
Sometimes we will.
I think there was only two brothers to ever win a championship on that level.
Both of us did win championships.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool. So And which coach was it that his wife mentored? Was it Coach Gaylor, or who mentored you and fostered you to want to be a teacher?
Yeah, so Barry Voskamp, Sue
Okay.
Voskamp. Sue Voskamp was principal at Clinton Middle School at the time.
Yeah, okay.
Barry Voskamp was one of our assistant coaches in '92 on our football team. And actually, since I've been named principal at Clinton High School, I've been to dinner with Barry Voskamp 2 times. Actually got to see Jimmy Gaylor the other day.
Did you?
Alvin Taylor had arranged a little kind of a hello handshake meet and greet with the new principal, new football coach at Clinton High School. So we all got together and we walk in there. Ron Brown's even there. So,
oh wow!
It was a good time. It was a great connection, and it's a proud moment for me to be able to shake those guys' hands because those guys helped mold me when I was young.
Coach Gaylor was. He did basketball for us. Coach Gaylor called the basketball. He was good at it. When he left to go to Maryville, it broke my heart. Not just because we lost a football coach, but I lost my basketball guy at the time. So, Coach Gaylor, and man, that 1992 season, we were so involved with Steve Rohde being up here and Jason Rohde being on it, and I think that I can tell you that was the first time that this radio station in 1992 hit a certain financial goal that we had been trying to get to. And so that month, that December, with the state championship, with those playoff games and that championship game, it skyrocketed our billing. So, I mean, the attachment that we've had with Clinton High School and the football program and watching everything, and working with it has been, I don't know, we feel like we're part of it just because we get to watch it all the time. You know what I mean?
We absolutely are part of it, and a big part of it.
Well, we enjoy it. And I tell people all the time, I don't get to go out and go to the football games as much, just because we got a lot going on. But I'll Wish on, and then I'll have like Praises doing Alcoa, and with the BBBs. I'll have like 3 or 4 different sources with 3 or 4 different high school football games going on.
Right.
And drives my wife insane. She's like, yes. I said, I can hear every bit of it. I can tell you exactly what's going on in any of these games. But it's just kind of one of those things that, like I said, we just feel like we're part of it, and kind of, we definitely enjoy it. We were excited to have you brought back as the principal of Clinton High School with a background, and sporting background. Do you think that contributes to being a good principal?
I think it's leadership characteristics. Head football coach, football coaches, basketball. If you coach, coaching sports, it's a lot like coaching life.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a leader, you're a leader. So I do think that the two can connect. There are different kinds of connection, different types of leadership, but the two can connect because of the trait and characteristic it takes to be a leader.
Ask you this, and I'm going to do this in general, not for Clinton High School, just in general. What are some of the challenges you think educators face with kids these days, high school kids? I've got 2 going into high school. Trey was a dream. My oldest son, Trey, he was easy, graduated magna cum laude, 4.0, going to be an astrophysicist. I mean, he was perfect in school. Couldn't have, the 2 that you're going to have, not so much. But what are some of the issues that you think face kids or face you in educating them going forward?
So the largest thing, I'm going to go backward in our conversation, back to the age-old question. What do you want to be when you grow up? So it's building that connection, getting a student connected to something that interests them. In Anderson County Schools, with Anderson County Career and Technical Center and all the career and technical education courses that we have, it's recognizing that college is not for every student. You need to get those students out there where they want to be, and something connects. So try to build on hobbies.
Yeah.
If they have no idea, no direction, the state of Tennessee, now you have to graduate high school with a program of study. So it's almost like declaring your college major as a freshman.
Wow.
Well, if you're a 13, 14-year-old freshman, and at 13, 14, I had no idea what I wanted to be, and I know that. So it's hard to ask those students that. So when you define that program of study, it's through conversation and connection, and answering that question. So the engagement side, that's the challenge, and getting students connected to where they want to be and need to be connected, because not every student's a college-bound student.
Do you try to are you going to try and get to know, I don't know if you get to know everybody, but you, obviously as the principal, you want to know as many kids as you can, right?
You do. With I'm not certain at the number right now at this moment in time of enrollment, but I think last year it was around the 1,200 number, 1,200 students at Clinton High School. So you have 5 administrators, you have a principal and 4 assistant principals. It's hard to know 1,200 students, but I promise that they know you. And going out to the food city, going out to the Walmart, things like that become a challenge because now all of a sudden you're engaged in a conversation.
Guys like me come up and want to talk about our kids.
Yes, it's an hour or two long, and you were just there for 30 minutes to go in and pick
some bread.
Pick up some milk and bread.
I get it. I understand it. Our friend David Queener was up here. He's on city council. He was telling me the other day, he's like, I went to the PAL Food City because if I he goes there, you're going to talk to 60 people. He likes talking to people, but needed some groceries real quick and get back.
Right.
So I get it completely. But it's just the more that, my kids get involved in stuff at school and the more involved that I get in school and the more that I see, what teachers put into it. And, like I was telling you earlier, Jacob's got a different vision than James David. Jacob's vision needs more attention than James David's. And just seeing that and being able to say, you know what, I trust sending my kids to the school system and they're going to come out, with a good education. I think that, I don't know, for me, getting through what we just got through and getting everything, getting the school systems back to not back, we didn't leave, but getting everything in line the way that you want it, the way that it ought to be. I just think that for the most part, we've done a pretty good job in Anderson County. My like I said, Trey, I think that if the parents and the kids want a good education for their child, it's here. We've got it, regardless of peripheral stuff that happened. And I appreciate that because I've seen, like I said, Trey was easy. But then they've had to deal with my twins at the middle school. They are not quite as easy. So I've seen the different styles that they've had to adjust to. My kids, I just as a dad appreciate it. I just want to tell you that I appreciate it. I want to wish you the best of luck doing it.
Well, thank you.
I think you're not going to necessarily need luck. I think that it's a perfect fit. I haven't spoken to one single person, and I'm not exaggerating, that says, I don't think they should have hired him or, nothing negative at all, which is, good, great. It's unusual because usually somebody has something to say bad about anything. But so I feel like, and you maybe can concur, this has been well received in the community.
I can concur. It has been well received within the community. Not inviting any negative at all.
Gosh,
we want to stay positive. We want to get Clinton High School, and we want to get Clinton as a community back into the situation where there's a sense of pride. Community pride, school pride, value. We've been there, and we need to get back there. And that's my goal as principal of Clinton High School is to impact not just the high school but the community.
Well, one thing I appreciate, I know I can speak for Jasper and everybody else who works here, even in the midst of stuff going on that we don't want to talk about, you still took time out of your day to come up here, sit down on TV and radio, talk to us. You're going to be super busy if you're not already. You're going to be super busy, and I appreciate that. And you probably already know this, but as a parent, that's worth its weight in gold, to be able to speak to someone and feel like you're heard. I have spoken to people, and I'm not the greatest speaker in the world, but I'm pretty good. I've done it for a while. I've talked a lot, but I've talked to some people, and I could tell they just didn't. It was going in and out, and then there was nothing. But I, as a parent, to know that if needed, that we have your ear. That's a fantastic thing for any parent, and it's appreciated. So please keep that up. I hope your schedule allows it.
Absolutely. So schedule-wise, it's been really fast. I came in the door at Clinton High School the day that everyone else was walking out the door. So I've been kind of on an island by myself this summer. Assistant principal-wise, I did have them for a couple of weeks just to talk with, but that was even an awkward moment, if you will, because new guy coming in, everybody's uncomfortable, not knowing styles and leadership. So through time and conversation, we've worked through all that. We have a great leadership team at Clinton High School. We have 2 new assistant principals that'll be coming in this upcoming school year. One being Josh Reed. He'll be our
Mr. Reed was great in middle school. I know Mr. Reed.
Director. I'm not ready to name the other.
Okay.
I'm not ready to name the second one yet. I've got to finalize and make that hire official today for a Monday administration workshop.
Okay.
So when the administrative team comes back on Monday, we will be defining.
You don't want to announce that right now, though, do you?
I cannot announce that right now because it's not official.
Okay.
But we will be defining the 24-25 school year and as to what it's going to look like. A couple of announcements I do have that I'd like to make on the air.
Good.
We do have Dragon Day, July the 31st. We have Fast Pass options before Dragon Day, so we have July 16th, July the 18th.
Now, what is Fast Pass? Is that
It's an opportunity to come in on campus at Clinton High School to take care of some of the things that you would take care of on Dragon Day, so your wait is not so long.
Gotcha. 16th and 18th?
16th, 18th, 23rd, 25th.
Yeah.
That's next Tuesday, Thursday, and the following Tuesday, Thursday.
Got it.
From 9 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock.
All right.
And then from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 3 o'clock.
So that way folks can come in and bring kids. They can have a little more time to figure out what they want to do and it not be so...
And that'll be at the front office area there on campus at Clinton High School.
All right.
Dragon Day, if you're returning student, it'll be as normal. We'll house that in the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come in on the gym side, line through the hallway into the cafeteria and the library.
Okay. And what about new kids for Dragon Day? Everybody is... What day is Dragon Day?
July the 31st.
7/31. All right.
And there's a schedule online.
Okay.
Each class, so freshman, sophomore, junior, senior class, they have a time allotted for that day. And I'm sorry, I can't remember what that time frame is for every class,
We'll pull it.
but it is online on our website.
I'll get it off yours and I'll put it on ours too.
Okay,
And share it right there. I do want to ask you one thing. It's not necessarily about the past. It's something that when you first got here, you endeavored into, and I've been asked it over and over and over again, and yesterday as well. But when you got here, you actually went through and looked at the records. It took time to look at the ineligibility or eligibility of a young man in question that when Coach Keith's contract went renewed, they cited that. But you found that the child was actually eligible, right? So do you care to talk a little bit just about that, how you found it and what the circumstance was?
Okay. So eligibility is determined by the TSSAA.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily by Clinton High School or Anderson County Schools. So they had self-reported, and then through the process of looking through some things, found that the student had actually taken a credit recovery course, and the dates of the credit recovery course and then the dates of the credit that was actually recorded on his transcript did not coincide.
Gotcha.
Therefore, the time that the class was taken for the credit recovery. So it was just a clerical error. If I'm remembering the years correctly, it was entered into the 22 year when it should have been entered into the 23 year,
Gotcha.
which showed that student short a credit for eligibility during that time. So we moved the 22 credit to the 23, which is where it should have been placed. That shows eligibility.
So you get there, and this is, at least in the public eye, the kind of first thing we hear from you, you know. Did you look at that and go, holy cow, you're wading right into the fire pit, and then you're going to have to contradict what the whole board just did by saying, hey, guys, we made a little mistake. Did you have some trepidation about that?
No, I didn't, because
Good.
it's about our kids. Our football team earned those wins on the football field on Friday night.
Yeah.
They earned that playoff berth. They earned the depth that they went in the playoffs. It was very rewarding for me to be able to go hug my son on the Oak Ridge High School football field after beating Oak Ridge. and going to an area where we hadn't been since I was a player there.
Absolutely, since
'92. In
'92.
the playoffs since 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids, it's about the kids. They earned that right. No, I did not.
That's great. Fantastic. 'Cause I mean, again, just right in the middle of the fire, and all of a sudden here you come out and say, hey, we good, guys. Let's fix this. Let's make it right. And I thought that took a lot of backbone, even if you knew it, not to sit on it for a few minutes and let it calm down before,
Well, time is of the essence in scenarios like that. And I'm still waiting to hear from TWSAA. We've had, July 4th holiday come through and some vacations on the TWSAA side as well as my side. So I've not been in communication. I do anticipate to hear something from TWSAA next week.
Yep. Folks that are worried based on what's happened, and I know you've had conversations with me, but tell people what they can expect for their children at Clinton High School now under your leadership.
Largest thing that you can expect is fairness and equality.
Good.
All children be treated the same, from the hellos and the good mornings to the discipline.
That's
it's
good.
all going to be fair and equitable.
That's all anybody can answer. Is there anything that you want folks to know about the school or anything coming up or anything that we haven't talked about or asked about?
Yeah, so I would like to say this. You have an issue. We're not here to talk about the issue, but everybody knows there's an issue.
Yeah.
It's a small population of student body, employees, etc. I was all before my time. I had nothing to do with it, but I want everyone to know Clinton High School is a great place. Clinton High School has great staff. As far as filling staff roles that were not involved with an issue, as far as being non-renewed or let go, I filled 3, and that was one went to a different school system. Actually, they all went to different school systems for various reasons.
Sure.
So I don't want to get into their personal reasoning behind that. But I feel like if you're innocent, you stand up and you stay your ground to prove your innocence, and if you're guilty, you run for the door. So to have only 3 in a staff in a school that's 5A school, with that cloud hanging there, speaks volumes to the staff.
Good.
Speaks volumes to the community. I've asked some people why stay at Clinton High School. And it's the family atmosphere at Clinton High School.
Well, I think you have a little bit to do with it, too. I think a lot of people waited to see who they'd be working for. I know a lot of teachers. I've talked to a lot of people. So I think that you probably calmed a lot of fears simply because we all know you. We've known you for a long time.
Possibly. Right. That's humbling, but it's not about any one person.
No.
There's no one person that can come in there and change. It's collective. It's everybody. So I appreciate the kind words.
Well, it's one person. The bad apple can mess up a lot of people, but coming in like you're coming in, it's going to. I understand what you're saying. It takes a minute, but don't take credit away from yourself. Just like a bad apple can influence people, so can a good, can good work.
So some good news. Our AP scores came in this week.
Okay. Yeah.
And oh my gosh, phenomenal. Nothing gave me more pride than to be able to send those AP teachers the email that I was able to send them, because that's just a direct reflection of their work and the students engaging and studying and preparing themselves. It was phenomenal. I'm not ready to release anything on the air as far as the numbers go with that, but it's very impressive. I will say that.
Dr. Parrott told me yesterday just a little bit, and it's good news to see the progress and not have it associated with any of the other stuff that had went on, to see that this is, the way that he said it was like a 5-star school, meeting that criteria, even when they went back and had to look at everything to make sure. They were like, oh yeah, we've got these scores. Our kids are doing it right. They were doing it, at the end of the school year, and they're doing it going into the school year, making the grades and achieving those things that, I don't know, not for whatever reason, because of what happened, people might have questioned. It's nice to know it's there, and the kids are getting the education, and it's not about the grade change scandal or any of the stuff that's happened. They're doing the work.
They are doing the work, and you have a small percentage of the student population that was involved in the issues that we're separating ourselves from at this moment in time. And I say it that way because time heals wounds.
Sure.
And my vision is to separate ourselves from the wound.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I wish you all the luck in the world. I don't think you're going to need luck. You know this community. You probably know the great majority of those kids, or their moms, or their dads, or their uncles, or cousins. You probably know them. And I think that goes a long way in understanding what kids going through, if you know some of the background, and being able to help them. And I don't think that there's anything at all. Some people would say, well, you need to bring somebody in that don't know anybody. I've heard that. I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You need somebody that knows everybody but can operate fairly. You know what I mean? That can operate.
Exactly.
Because that knowledge is power, and if you know something about a kid or know something about somebody that you can use to help them, that goes a lot further than having to stumble around and figure it out. So I would say welcome, but you've been here. I mean, you've just been down the road 3 miles. So,
Yes.
But welcome to Clinton High School, and I'm sure we'll talk during the season, especially about football and stuff like that. And
I look forward to it.
and Walt Stayer's doing our football. He did it last year. Him and Jim Hollingsworth came back, which I was tickled to death when they wanted to come back because they did it before Jim.
Right. Yes. Walt was the radio guy when I was coming through high school.
Absolutely.
Involved in sports there at Clinton High School. So it was great for me to see him come back as well.
It was fun. He, when Jim couldn't do it, what are you doing, Jasper? I got that mic on. You're there clicking, clapping. What? Do you need a mic, everybody?
Sorry. No, I just had a question for Robbie.
Oh, what's your question?
Since he's taken on the new was principal.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know if he was going to resign as my Lowe's Toes can man.
I will probably have to resign from being a Lowe's Toes can man.
Go ahead and put that on the agenda and help me find another can man.
We will find you another can man.
Okay.
For cash, right?
Ask for cash.
Yeah, ask for cash. I love it. Thank you for coming in, Robbie. I really do appreciate it.
Yes,
and
sir, I appreciate you.
I say this, I mean it too. I don't know what we could do, but anything that the station can do to help me or the station or any of us, obviously, just ask, and we're happy to do it sincerely. And we are expecting great things. And again, thanks for taking the job, because a lot of folks might have been. I think it helped you being from here and knowing the heart of the community. Because if you're outside looking in, it looks like we had a big mess going on. But if you're inside, just like you said, it's a small population. Mm-hmm. So, thanks for taking the job. You've been listening to pre-recorded best of edition of Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12. Or listen live online at WYSHradio.com. And remember, if you have a question, comment, or problem, call in tomorrow and ask your neighbor. Or email from our website. It's Ask Your Neighbor. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at